how are you? This is Cliff Cumber, and welcome to Comics Unencumbered, a very occasional podcast in which each few days, or weeks, or when I can be bothered, I ramble about an independent comic creator or comic I find interesting, even inspiring, or maybe just that little bit disturbing. So this week we continue with creators and books I learned about from that random tweet a few weeks ago. In this case, the creator was kind enough to email me a digital copy of his book, which is always amazing. I love to get free comics. Who doesn't? And let me add in here that I also love to get books of huge quality, and had I seen this aforehand, I would have shouted, aforehand? What am I, in the Victorian age? If you can hear that, that is my cat clawing at things. Stop it, Drew. Stop. Never mind. Okay, it's good background. So let me add in that had I seen this beforehand, I absolutely would have shelled out $10 for the digital copy, because the genre and story are truly unique. The art is amazing, and you'll find no weak retreads here in genre. The gentleman that sent me the comic is Plaid Klaus, or Klaus, or Klaus. I'm not quite sure. I've never spoken to him, so I don't know how he pronounces his name. Hopefully one of those is right. I'm just going to call him Plaid. And as he told me in his email, he's a one-man band. And looking at his work, I'm surprised, really surprised, he hasn't been snapped up by the big two or some other major comics company. And clearly, I think if if there's some awareness with those two companies or other comic book companies out there, then they're going to want him to work for them. And you know, he should be. Well, I say. You know, I hope, I would like to see him in the big two. Maybe he would like to see himself in the big two, who knows? But maybe not, because, I mean, on the flip side, I'd love to see so much more of his creator-owned content, right? So let's just say I'm torn and leave it at that. It would be marvelous to see. I mean, he has done a book for Image, which is pretty notable, but, I mean, I think that was with a different writer, but I really, the book we're about to talk about, I'm really enjoyed, and he wrote and drew and colored and did everything on this, which is impressive. So it's sprawling, beautifully rendered art in this book, and as you can see in the links in the show notes, you can find Platt's website. His stuff is just serious quality, and he's Brooklyn-based. Not a UK creator. I know I predominantly talk about UK creators because that's the sort of the field I'm most involved in, even though I'm over here in Maryland on the East Coast. So, you know, my brother-in-law, coincidentally, he lives with his partner up in Brooklyn. So I may have to hit Plaid up and see if he's available for a lunch the next time I'm there on a visit. So anyhow, on to the comic. This week, we're going to be talking about Hive Mind. So here's my cat is now chewing the blinds. Drew! Yes? Stop it, Drew. She's absolutely adorable, but my God, like anybody who's super, super adorable, she gets away with murder. So here's a description of Hive Mind from Plaid's website. Sometimes there's a case that takes you so far down a rabbit hole that you can no longer escape it. Some doors, once opened, can't be shut. This science fiction film noir series explores the human relationship to society and the machinations which control it. So I'm deeply sorry about that accent, but I felt like I had to do it just because of the genre we're dealing in here. And what should we call it? Noirpunk, maybe? Right from the get-go, we're dropped into a detective story of robots, alien characters, and murder, all told through that noir lens, which Plaid has expanded and crafted into this unique tale. But don't think it's kind of like one of these sprawling, throw everything at it epics. It's not. It is a story with restraint. One weakness I often see with genre-bending tropes is that the creative team just gives too much away, right? So think about the Matrix movies after the first one and how kind of the knowledge of existence beyond the Matrix kind of ruined it. Let's be honest, it wasn't that exciting. What we really enjoyed was kind of, the in sort of world, in the virtual world thing. All right, don't at me on Twitter, okay? Maybe a discussion for another time. But that gives you an idea of what Plaid doesn't do here, and his expertise in laying out this tale is that he consistently gives you, as with any good noir detective story, just enough clues to, with the ongoing first-person narrative, to build towards that understanding that there's a central mystery at the story's heart. And the secret to that skilled detective story is that you as the reader become part of solving that case, putting together those clues, or trying to put together those clues. And it's not an easy genre to work in at best, and Plaid just nails it here. I mean, he must have read hundreds of detective story novels. The main character and main narrator is Kipling, or Kip, a fallen detective turned bounty hunter who is excommunicated from the Hive colony and his family after a mysterious contravention of the rules of the Order. And this, he's desperate to find a way back into the Hive and become part of it again. But all is not as it seems, right? Something's rotten in this world, which is ruled by this Order. Or is it Kipling? You'll just have to read it to find out. I don't want to give too much away about the story, because it is a great story. The world building in this is exceptional. You just right from the get-go. It's a fully conceived universe. It's futuristic technology, and it's a utopian dystopia, but it's all wrapped in this 40s noir feel, and it sort of has the sensibilities of a Raymond Chandler novel, definitely that gritty, grimy feel, or a Humphrey Bogart movie where he played the sort of the detective in the Trilby and the Mac. Except, there are elements of cyberpunk, the genre, not the game, and this kind of twisted plotting and art that would headline, I believe, some of the best of 2000 AD, if it was in 2000 AD. I mean, it's got that. So for those readers who are not necessarily sold on American comics, it has that 2000 AD sensibility about it, except maybe a bit better than what you might find presently. I don't read it these days, but I've dabbled and not found it to my taste anymore. But you might, your mileage may vary, and that's fine. So if I were to sum up Hive Mind's aesthetic overall, I'd compare it maybe to the tone and feel of 1950s Sunset Boulevard. You might remember that movie about an aging Hollywood actress. There's a narrator, there's a mystery, there's a compelling central character trying to unravel how he fits in with the complex dynamics of the situation of which he's become a part. And just to sort of pile on the kudos here, you're going to see, if you look at Plaid's work, that you probably find elements of similarity, I would say, with Dan Cornwell. And he is the artist behind Rock of the Reds and Rock the God, written by John Wagner, and which I also highly recommend if you haven't read it. And it's also one of these mind-bending, thought-provoking arcs. It's the ones that leave you with this sort of chilling sliver of concern that reality, that your experience of that every day may be a terribly thin and easily torn veneer. So I also love stories that aren't pure entertainment, so just capes kicking the shit out of each other, and also stories that require you to work just a little bit to engage with the central story, and this is very much one of those. Highly recommended. You can find Plaid's work at www.mindcomics.com. That's MIND COMICS.com. You can follow him on Twitter at TheMindComics. And if you're in a supportive mood, you can also help him out by becoming a patron of his on patreon.com/Plaid Klaus. That's Klaus with a K. It's all going to be in the show notes. I'm not sure if he's on the Instagram. Hopefully he is. If he is, I'm definitely going to follow him. And once again, look underneath this episode and you'll see those links. So that's it for this edition of Comics Unencumbered. Thank you. Episode 5 of Season 2. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm glad you you do me the honor of spending a few minutes with me whenever I do these podcasts. It means an awful lot to me. And thank you. Thank you for your support. I'm hoping to have one more episode before the holiday season. I don't know if that's going to be feasible. I might see you in the new year when I'm hoping to do a best of 2021. Plans sometimes go awry, so we'll see how that goes. As always, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at CGCumber, where you can participate in my idiocy on a daily basis, and which is probably the best way to get notifications about new unencumbered episodes. And if you hear about some indie creator I'd be interested in, let me know. Shoot me a note. Anyhow, I'll see you next time.